Good afternoon. I'm Hannah Fink here with your next weather. Thank you so much for joining us. We have a few things to talk about today. One of the things being we do have a controlled burn in the Orange Beach area at Gulf State Park. We have some lovely viewer photos. This one's from Donna. This is in the Loxley area. That is a sunset from last night. You can definitely see some of the smoke and the haze in the horizon area. And then we move on. We see a little bit more haze. That is not cloud coverage. That is actually the haziness from the controlled burn creating what looks to be clouds, and that is from Charlene. And then we look into this morning, we have a smoky sunset as well from Buck in the Foley, Alabama area. And then taking a look at more right now, this is a controlled burn as of a few hours ago from Zach in the Gulf Shores area. So right now, this is what it currently looks like. It is still a controlled burn. It has gotten a little bit bigger because of the conditions we do have going on here in the Gulf Coast area. Right now you can see winds are coming out from the northwest at 15 miles per hour and temperatures are sitting at 79 degrees. And we do have a very dry air. We have a dew point of 45 degrees outside right now. Taking a look at our winds right now, you can see it's quite gusty out there. In Bay Minette, we have winds coming from the northwest at 16 miles per hour. Gulf Shores at 15 miles per hour. Pensacola, 14 miles per hour coming from the north. 17 miles per hour at Pascagoula. And then north and Evergreen, we have 10 miles per hour, and then same thing in Grove Hill as well. For your dew points, as you can see, it is very dry. It was extremely moist this morning. We had a dew point sitting around 60 degrees or so, and it has dried significantly since this morning. We have dew points in the lower 40s. Gulf Shores, like I said, it was 45, and then in our northern counties, it is in the 30s in Grove Hill. So it's definitely dry out there, and that is going to be the story for the remainder of this weekend. Same thing with temperatures. It is quite warm out there, definitely getting into the springtime, summertime feel. We have close to the 80s along the Gulf Coast, and then the mid to lower 70s in the rest of the area. For your forecast lows tonight, we did have a cold front move on through our area earlier this morning. And you can see that with our northwest winds. We do have temperatures near the 50s along the Gulf Coast, 51 in Gulf Shores and 53 in Pensacola. Here in Mobile, we do have an event called the Loda Art Walk, right, Nick?
Yeah, that's happening tonight.
Yeah, so it'll be a little chilly tonight, so definitely recommend bringing a jacket. We have a low of 49 in Mobile, and then in the rest of the area, and the Gulf Coast area will be in the upper 40s to mid 40s, and that's going to be the story going into the rest of the weekend as that cold front did move through, like I did mention, and then we'll start to warm up a little bit in our overnight lows. So for your wind gusts, like I said, we do have that prescribed burn, and our wind gusts are not helping with the size of it. It is still controlled,
yes.
So that is not a concern at all, but it is definitely gusty out there. You can see we have gusts up into the 20s.
And I'll mention this as well, the fact that we're going to have the winds out of the northwest. That is pushing the smoke south towards the beach. So folks who have been at the beach are probably noticing the smoke. Yeah. So this is, today is Friday, yeah. This is in the next couple of hours. You see wind gusts that are around 24 miles per hour out there. I mean, that's the Gulf Shores. That's out of the northwest. And this is thanks to that cold front that passed. So, I mean, again, that is going to blow the smoke. I don't think it's going to cause any issues, but it is just a little drier northwest wind. So there's something you'll notice with that. If you're down at the beach, you might be seeing the smoke down there, and you might be seeing it blow a little more because we have more wind on it.
Probably is not the best smell out there right now at the beach if you're trying to enjoy your day. But luckily, though, the wind gusts do tend to slow down just a little bit. Right now, they are in the 20s, but they do decrease as we get into the overnight hours. We start to see some areas in the teens. Gulf Shores is at 16, 20 still in Mobile around 6 p.m. But as we move into the early morning hours, 10 p.m., that is when you see a slight decrease. We are in the mid-teens for the most part. And then that seems to stick around going into the early morning hours around 4 a.m., 5 a.m. You can see we're still in the mid to lower teens. We do see 9 in Leakesville, so it does start to slow down substantially there, but for the most part, we're going to continue seeing wind gusts in the upper teens.
So long story, I mean, yeah, you'll realize that the winds are not as strong tomorrow as they were today. And it took a second for them to get up today. It took a second for it to get windy, but finally, It has, and I think, by tomorrow morning it'll be calmer, and even through the day tomorrow. I don't think they'll go up much in the afternoon if you play it forward. I think we have this a couple more hours here. Through 8 o'clock, no, that's barely anything. One of the reasons high pressure is moving in.
Exactly, which we will see coming in Sunday morning. So for our forecast dew points, like I said, it is going to stay dry for the most part all the way through tomorrow. So not much humidity you will feel. So it is actually a perfect weekend to go to the beach, which you probably can agree with me there.
Yeah, no, I think it is going to be a really nice weekend for us, for folks to get down there. It should be a really good one. And dew points, yes, they are getting low. So it's not going to feel ugly outside. It should be really quite comfortable.
I'm actually really excited to get outside because we did have all that rain ruin our weekend last weekend, so nobody could get outside.
This is the first time that we have had a good weekend in a while.
And then for your forecast highs, like we said, it is going to be a perfect day at the beach. Not too hot out there. We'll be in the lower to close to mid 70s for the most part. 73 in Gulf Shores, 71 in Fairhope, 73 in Bay Minette, 73 here in Mobile. Then we got 74 in Leakesville. So it's going to be a pretty pleasant weekend for the most part overall.
Yeah.
And then looking into your overall weekend, 73 on Saturday, mainly sunny. Chance of rain, 0%, which I know most of us are very happy about after all that flooding we just had. Then that high pressure system does move in early on Sunday morning. So we don't have much cloud coverage. Definitely recommend some sunscreen if you're going to the beach or if you're outside at all. 76 degrees. And then for the next 3 days overall, we have low rip current. So definitely a nice day to go to the beach. Safe water conditions as well.
And that's a huge thing. For the longest time, we have to wait for the good water conditions. And this is one of those rare times where we do not have to flail our arms about rip current issues. I'm really happy about that. So I say get out there and enjoy it this weekend.
Oh, yeah. Enjoy it for us because we'll be here bringing you your weather at Fox 10.
Yes, we will be here.
And looking at your future cast, like I said, it is going to be a beautiful week overall. Not a little bit of cloud coverage here and there throughout your Friday going into Saturday. You can see winds are still northerly for the most part. Now, no rain in sight because we do have that high pressure system moving on through. As you can see, 2:30 a.m. to 7 a.m. You do see that wind shift, which is because of that high pressure system we do have move on through. And it's going to be the same thing. Not much cloud coverage happening, not much rain, no rain at all. So it's going to just overall be a beautiful weekend ahead. And then you can see it slowly move out of our way around 9 p.m. on Sunday with the wind shift to southerly winds.
Yeah, and that was one thing that we were talking about earlier, the high sitting right over us, so we'll be mostly sunny through a good chunk of the forecast there. And I think things will really look good. And yes, with the wind shift happening, and you have the 7-day queued up there, with the wind shift happening, you'll notice that here, over the next few days, that we get warm again, and all the way up to next Tuesday when our next front comes.
We can even see temperatures in the lower 80s on Tuesday, so it starts to warm up a little bit. We continue to see those lows. Pretty chilly over the weekend, but like I said, since that high pressure system is moving into our area, that cold front has made its way through earlier this morning. We start to warm up a little bit where you probably won't need that jacket as much, but then we have a possibility of a cold front moving through on Friday, which is why we do have a 20% chance of rain possible, but it's not going to be a strong one at all. It's not going to bring much to us.
And that's super far out in the forecast, so I mean we'll keep a look at that. But so 2 fronts technically in this forecast, one on Tuesday, one kind of towards the end on Friday there. But even then, that drop from 81 to 77 isn't huge. So,
but it's going to be a beautiful week overall. We have a break from the rain, so if you're going to the beach, please enjoy it. The waters are safe. You won't have any rain. The only thing I do recommend is just some sunscreen.
sunscreen. Other than that, I mean, I think that's good. So again, talk about the prescribed burn that was happening, and you were talking about it earlier. That's at Gulf State Park, and let me actually pull. I'll read this out. It's affecting a couple of the trails down there in Gulf State Park, kind of near the Wood Glen subdivisions. So it just might be smoky there, and also our live camera was showing how it's blowing the smoke down towards the beach because the wind direction has changed out of the northwest with our front. So that is going to cause some smoke down there at the beach. Nothing to worry about. It's just prescribed burn. It was something, originally that burn was scheduled for
December 18th, I think you
yes,
said?
yeah, so December, and then they decided, okay, let's move it to here. And it actually, Orange Beach Police Department posted about that on their Facebook page. So, yeah, there's gonna be a little smoke down there at the beach. But other than that, it's a good forecast, I think, for us overall. So we'll leave you to Sunday.
All right. Y'all have a great day, and we'll see you later on.